Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? This your man Pristine, and back with another video, back with another unboxing. Here before you, ladies and gentlemen, I've got the Moto Edge Plus in the house, ready to do an unboxing. We're going to take a look at the inbox contents, look at the hardware, turn on the device, play around with the software features and functions, take a couple camera samples, and then we'll go ahead and close this thing out. Right? Typical order of business. So without further ado, let's go. Now, before I get into the spec sheet, I do want to say that I am definitely happy to see Motorola back in the flagship space. It's been like a 2 or 3 year run that they've taken some time off from making flagship devices, and they've just dedicated their focus more so towards the budget and the mid-range aspect of things. Now, we know in the budget category with that G series, Motorola is running shop. And every budget device that comes out, the G series devices is what those devices are competing with. And oftentimes, you know, the G series just steals the show, man. They're a fan favorite among the masses, you know, when it comes to budget, good quality, bang for your buck devices. Now, in the mid-range category, we've got the Z series, which used to be the flagship. And so I'm not exactly sure why Motorola felt it was going to be a good idea to go away from making flagships and convert the Z series lineup from flagship to mid-range. They've got their reasons. Maybe they weren't selling enough, and maybe they just felt like they'd make a bigger statement in the mid-range aspect of things. And so they've you know, relied heavily on the Z series and Moto mods. And I can't say that Moto mods have taken off quite like Motorola had in mind. I know that some people liked it. I'm a fan of the Z series devices and the Moto mods, but I don't think that everybody really took to them like Motorola thought that they would. I mean, just the idea of having to buy these separate accessories, which they enhance your device, but at the same time, when you're talking about the average consumer and the fact that they just want something that you buy the device, and within the device itself, it's going to have all the key essentials that you're going to need, as opposed to having to buy separate pieces to enhance the capabilities of the device. I don't really think that that took too well among the masses. And so here we are. You know, 2020, Motorola's back in the flagship game. They are taking on heavy hitters like the Galaxy S20 Pro here. As is the OnePlus, and I'm really liking this OnePlus 8, you know, so much to where I may put my Galaxy S20 down, S20 Ultra rather. So depending on, you know, what we got here with this Moto Edge, I may be putting both of these phones down, and this may be my daily driver. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, sadly, and yes, I say sadly, the Moto Edge Plus is a Verizon exclusive. Now, if you're a Verizon customer, that's good. If you've got an upgrade or you want to upgrade to this device, you can go ahead and get it through Verizon. You also can get it through the Motorola website. Go to moto.com. This phone retails full price at $999. Now, this is a $1,000 device. You know, it's got all the top tier 2020 specifications to compete with the likes of the Samsung S20 Ultra, among other phones in its class. It's another flagship option, and you just have to ask yourself, you know, is this option a worthy competitor? Is it worth my money? So here we go. As I just mentioned, full retail price, $999. There are some trade-in promotions going on at Verizon, and so you can get up to like $250 or $300 shaved off if you trade in a device and you want to upgrade your device. Okay, now we've got a 6.7-inch 1080 by 2340 OLED HDR plus display. We've got a 98.8% screen to body ratio. Okay, we've got the waterfall display, which the curves are bleeding over both sides, and so it's going to give you a pretty near bezel-less look. All right, we've got a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. We've got a PPI pixel density of 385, and this phone weighs a cool 203 grams, which is 7.16 ounces. We do have Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back. Then we do have an aluminum frame. Now, the internal specifications, we've got the Snapdragon 865 SoC system on a chip. We've got an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 650 GPU. We've got 12 gigabytes of RAM. We've got 256 gigabytes of onboard storage. There is no memory card slot for memory expansion. So be mindful. We get 256 gigs and that is it. Now for me, 256 is plenty. So I'm not bothered by the fact that this phone does not have an SD card slot for memory expansion. All right. We've got Android 10 on board and there is no IP rating, but this phone is splash resistant. Now the camera is what is supposed to really compete with the likes of the S20 Ultra, the iPhones, all that kind of thing. Like I'm hearing some really good things about this camera. Now, on the rear of this device, we've got a quad camera system. All right, we've got a 108 megapixel wide angle sensor, and that's f1.33 aperture. We've got a 0.8 micron pixels. We have PDAF and optical image stabilization. We've got an 8 megapixel f2.4 aperture with an 81 millimeter telephoto lens that has 3x optical zoom, PDAF, and also optical image stabilization. We have a 16 megapixel f2.2 aperture, 13 millimeter ultra wide sensor. And that's 1.0 micron pixels, and that has autofocus. And then we have a time of flight 3D sensor. I'm not exactly sure what the megapixel count is for that 3D sensor. I believe it's like a 2 or 3 megapixel, if I'm not mistaken. But that makes up the fourth sensor, and that's for depth. Okay, it's a time of flight 3D depth sensor. We do have 6K recording at 30 frames per second, 4K recording at 30 frames per second, and we've got 1080p recording at 30, 60, or 120 frames per second. Now on the front of this bad boy, we've got a 25 megapixel selfie shooter at f2.0 aperture. This is also a wide lens at 0.9 micron pixels, and that features HDR at 1080p. It features HDR, and we've got 1080p recording at 30 or 120 frames per second. Now, as far as the battery, we've got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. That is no surprise here in 2020. We've got, I don't want to say a pretty long list, but a lot of the flagship devices that have been coming out in 2020, they've got 5,000 milliamp hour batteries. The Galaxy S20 Ultra, my LG V60, this bad boy right here, 5,000 milliamps. I mean, so look to get some really, really good battery life out of this device. Okay, we've got a Type-C port. We've got an 18-watt fast charger that comes in the box. We've got fast 15-watt wireless charging. And then we do have 5-watt reverse wireless charging as well with a 3.1 Type-C reversible connector. So, you know, people are really catching on with this reverse charging technology. You know, Samsung, they laid it out there. You know, they originated it. But again, when a company originates something, it is due to get copied over and over. And that's good for us, the consumers, because if we want that feature, we don't have to just settle for Samsung devices. And so it's good to see that feature here on the Moto Edge Plus. Now, additional features, we've got Bluetooth 5.0, we've got NFC, we do have a 3.5 millimeter jack, we do have dual stereo speakers, and Motorola is claiming that these dual stereo speakers are the absolute loudest, most crispest sounding dual stereo speakers on any smartphone on planet Earth. All right, we will definitely test that out, but other videos that I have watched on this phone, people have nothing but rave reviews to say about how this phone sounds. So looking forward to testing that out and seeing what that's really about. We have an optical under the display fingerprint sensor, and we also have a 90 hertz refresh rate. So it's good to see that we have that on board. It's not 120 hertz, but that's not really a big deal to me. As long as we have something that's a little faster and smoother, more responsive to the touch than the 60 hertz, I'm good with that. And, you know, it's good to see that that's becoming a standard on the flagship devices of today. And so it's good to see that Motorola factored that in. Now, the colors that you can get this in, you can get this in smoky sangria, which is like a pinkish purplish kind of color, kind of like the sangria wine color. And then you got thunder gray, which is what this is right here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that is the spec list for the Moto Edge Plus. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the box here. On the bottom of the device, we've just got the serial number, IMI information. Left or right of the device, we've got the Motorola logo right there. At the top of the box, we've got nothing. On the left of the box, it is clean. As you can see, Moto Edge Plus on the front of the device. And then on the rear, we've got the Moto Edge Plus. Here's some other information. And that is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So we will go ahead and Boom, cut into this box. All right, let's do it. Go ahead and remove the top, take the top off. Go ahead and take the top off this mother. You know what I'm saying? All right, here is our device. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That aspect ratio is like something crazy. I like it. It's very thin. It is very thin. Okay. Oh, look at that. Thunder gray. Wow. Look at that. And I've seen in previous videos that this phone has the ability to kind of stand up on its own. And you guys can see like the little ridge on the bottom, which enables it to literally stand up. Now, I don't recommend you do that, but your phone can stand up. Wow, look at that. Look at that shimmer. Thunder gray. Wow, that is beautiful. And this feels so good in the hands. You see how it's curved around the sides, very just perfectly. Very easy to wield in the hand. And you can see the curves around both the left and the right side. Again, this has that waterfall or that waterfall display. So the curve, there's a very dramatic curve on both the left and the right side of the device. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, the power button right here does have some rigidity to it, so that's a good thing. We've got the power button and the volume markers all on one side. Let's go ahead and power this bad boy on and set it aside. Wow, look at that. Whoo, beautiful. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Moto Edge Plus. Wow, look at that. All right. Now, in the box here, we've got, geez, people just want to start blowing me up when I'm making videos. So let's go ahead and vibrate. There we go. Boom. Alert slider, OnePlus 8. Let's get it. All right, so we've just got a little bit of literature here. The Motorola Edge Plus README. That's going to be your quick start guide, ladies and gentlemen. Here is going to be like some warranty information and safety protocol stuff. And then here is your SIM ejection pin right there. And then you've got, of course, from Verizon, the important consumer safety information. All right. So that's what that is, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so here is our 15 watt USB type A to type C. Well, here, let's go ahead. Boom, there we go. Type A to type C right here. Again, this is 15 watts. It's the 15 watt wall adapter right here that comes inclusive in the box. And then, is this something else over here? Nope. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is all we get in the box. We just get the device, the charger, the cable, and the literature. And that is it. All right. So here we are with the phone, ladies and gentlemen. Now, again, as I mentioned, this phone has a 98.8 screen to body ratio. I am amazed by how thin this phone is. All right. I think the OnePlus 8 is, wow, let's see. I believe that my OnePlus 8 feels like it is. Okay, so the Motorola is just a hair taller, if you can see that. But the OnePlus 8 is a tad bit wider. Just by a smidge, not by much, but it is a little bit wider. Okay. Interesting. Wow. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, 6.7 inches from corner to corner on this device. And let me see here and zoom out there. There we go. 6.7 inches from corner to corner. As again, we've got, look at that. You see, like I said, I mean, the screen just bleeds over to the side in very dramatic fashion. Now, I'm a big fan of this. Some people don't like that because they feel like there's going to be like accidental presses while they're holding their phone. Now, I believe that this phone does have palm rejection, so that should help with some of those accidental presses, but I can't guarantee that you will never do it. I mean, so it's just one of those storms that you're going to have to weather if you're going to rock with this device. Me personally, it's not a big deal to me personally. All right. Now, as I said, we've got our power button right here, and it does have some rigidity, so you can easily distinguish that between the volume marker, which is just right above it. On the top of the device here, we've got our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack for those of you that still like to plug in. And I believe we've got Dolby Atmos on this phone as well. Don't quote me on that, but I believe I saw that. I will confirm that. Now, on the left of this device, we've got absolutely nothing. It is totally clean. On the bottom of the device, here is our SIM tray. Here's our Type-C port for charging. There is there a little noise canceling mic right there? No, but there's a little noise canceling mic right there that is directly to the right of the SIM pin. If you can see that in the glare, ladies and gentlemen. And then here is one of our bottom firing speakers. Again, we have dual stereo speakers. So we have a speaker that is right up here up top. If you can see that right there in the glare, ladies and gentlemen. Here's our punch hole camera. I'm a big fan of that look. Like, I understand the S20 Ultra has the camera right there in the middle, just like the Note 10. But I'm a fan of it being right where it's at. Right? Like, I really like that look. I really am a big fan of that look. Okay, and then here around the back of the device, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our Motorola logo, and it's interesting because the M, that looks like it could be a fingerprint sensor, but it's not. The fingerprint sensor is an optical fingerprint sensor that is here on the display, but the little circle right there, you know, one may think that that's the fingerprint sensor, and it's not. And actually, that's not even, you can't even feel the ridges in the circle that is all underneath the glass. I mean, so this is just completely smooth, and so I like how Motorola implemented that on there. And then here's that camera array that is going to be going toe-to-toe with that S20 Ultra. Toe-to-toe. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, those are the dimensions in the hardware. As I mentioned, Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back of this device, and we've got an aluminum frame around those chamfered edges. So let me go ahead and get the device set up. I'll get to the desktop. I'm not going to download any of my applications because I want to be able to see exactly what type of bloatware is on this device and exactly how much internal storage that bloatware is taking up. And so I will be right back, and we'll browse through the software, features, functions, camera, and we'll close this thing out. All right, hold it down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have arrived at the desktop for the Moto Edge Plus. I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very impressive device. Now, you know, editing these videos, you know, just in between gaps, you know, we can add like transitions and stuff like that to make it appear as though, you know, I just went from, you know, messing with the phone in one particular aspect to another aspect. Like, you know I just recently was like, hey, you know, I got the, you know, we did the unboxing, we got the phone out of the box, and I'm gonna go ahead and set it up, get it to the desktop. And then I'll be right back with you. But what you guys don't know is a lot of times when I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm gonna set up the phone, hold it down, I'll be right back, there's usually like large gaps in between when I actually start shooting again, but you're not able to tell that because I just throw a transition in there on my editing software to make it seem like I go from one thing to the next just like that. I've been playing with this phone for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And just familiarizing myself with a lot of the features, functions. I've had several other Moto devices before, so some of the stuff is very familiar. But I mean, like I said, I mean, it's just good to see Motorola back in the flagship space, and I'm totally in love with the body style and the overall look and feel of this device. And so again, we've got that waterfall display, I mean, which is just absolutely stunning to the eyes. And that thunder gray color is just a head turner. You know what I mean? You are definitely going to turn heads with this device. But the form factor, you know, that 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio, it really feels good in the hands. And just as curvaceous as the phone is, you know, just the dimensions. You know, you see the screen is flat right there up top, but the way that it's rounded around the corners. And again, I mean, you know, like I said, you've got that waterfall display. So the display is literally falling over the left and the right side of the device. And it just makes for a very, very beautiful looking device. And you can see the little waterfall effect. I mean, you know, when you touch the screen, the water moves, or like whenever you swipe from one side to the next, you see the water moves. Cool little effects there. You see when we scroll hard to the right, we've got the Google Now feed, which I get tons of information about deals on tech, you know, information about my football team, video game news, car news, you know, sports news, just all kinds of stuff. And so I love, you know, the Google feed just at a glance like that. This isn't anything new. I've seen this on a lot of different Android devices, but it's good that it's here on the Moto Edge Plus. But swiping back to the home screen, as you can see, we've got a 90 hertz display. And so you see that things are very nice and responsive to the touch. And, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, the phone is just, it's a very, very compelling device. Definitely putting up some competition with Samsung's offering with the S20 lineup. And, you know, I think that this would probably be, you know, the perfect device for those of you that wanted just a near stock Android experience outside of a Pixel device. You know, if you don't like One UI, or, you know, with the OnePlus 8, you know, if you're not really a big fan of Oxygen OS, which is very near stock as well, but, you know, OnePlus, they throw their own, you know, little things in there that you can tweak and play with, you know, their own little bells and whistles, if you will, which I am a fan of. But I'm just saying, you know, Motorola, they try to keep it clean. I mean, so, you know, again, this being a Verizon exclusive, there is some Verizon bloatware on there. As you can see right here, we've got the My Verizon app. We got the V Cloud right there. We got the Verizon messages, which I'm going to go ahead and delete that. But again, as I mentioned, I have not uploaded any of my applications onto this device. And so I wanted to give you guys a clear-cut picture of the amount of storage that you're going to have fresh out of the box. And as you can see here, I mean, we've just got the typical Google suite. We do have some additions. Amazon, Apple Music. You know, we've got the Moto Gestures app. Again, since this is a Verizon exclusive, we have Verizon bloatware on there. We've got the call filter, V Cloud, Digital Secure. We do have Disney Plus on there. I'll keep that on there because I rock with Disney Plus. I have a subscription. My kids, they love it. What else we got? eBay, Facebook. You know, I rock with both of those, so I keep that. You know, Yahoo Finance, I don't mess with that, so I'll get rid of that. Forge of Emperor's game. You know, I don't game on my mobile device, and so we'll get rid of that. And speaking of gaming, just really quickly, one of the cool things about the waterfall display is when you're gaming, obviously you're going to be holding your phone like this, and you can set triggers at the top left and the top right. So, you know, while you're navigating the game with your thumbs, you know what I mean? You could be pressing up here, you know what I'm saying, to maybe aim with this and then shoot with this, just kind of like you would on a typical, you know, Xbox One or PS4 controller, you know what I mean? And so that's a really dope feature, you know, if you're looking to do some gaming on this device. And can you game on this device? With a Snapdragon 865 and 12 gigs of RAM? Yeah, I think so. I would think so. All right, now we got Hatch. What is this? Merge Dragons, Motorola notifications, Pinterest. Rogue Assault, Scrabble Go, Snapchat, Solitaire, Yahoo Sports. Yeah, actually, Yahoo Mail. I'll keep that on there because I rock with Yahoo News. There's a good amount of bloatware on here, and most of that stuff I will be deleting, with the exception of a couple of things. Now, if we go down to storage, you'll see out of 256 gigabytes, there's 21.69 gigabytes that's been utilized by the pre-installed applications. Okay, so what that's going to leave you with is, what's this, 21.69 out of 256. So what you do is you just subtract 21.69 from 256, and that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get. All right, fresh out the box. All right, now, so that's what we're looking at. You still got, well over 200 gigabytes of storage on board on this device when you take it out of the box. I mean, so you still got a lot to play with. And I'm actually, once I get rid of some of those applications pre-installed that are on here, it's going to free up even more space. And so I even have more storage space than that. So, you can go ahead, you got the storage space to go crazy if you want to. But again, sadly, for those of you that were looking for an SD card slot to expand the memory, you do not have that on the Moto Edge Plus here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and lock the device. And one of the main attractive features with Moto is if you run your hand over the device, it will go ahead and turn on, like screen notifications. You'll have the ability to take a look at the time, the date, if you've got any kind of notifications or anything of that nature. And you can see right now all of the notifications that are in my notification bar right now. If I just want to get a quick glance of those things, I can just simply hold down on it, and you can see I've got the content hidden. I got it set up to where, when notifications come, there's privacy. And so it'll just let me know that there's a notification, but it's not going to display exactly what the notification is. I have to unlock my device and get into that. I've got to have a little bit of privacy. Ain't trying to hide nothing, but that's just how I got my phone set up. But again, hidden content. But, if you elect to have, the things read out on the screen, then just with the simple press, then you'll be able to look at your notification real quick and decide whether or not that's something that you want to entertain or if you want to hold it off until later. But you can see it's always going to say contents hidden, but it at least tell you what it is. And then see 6 more, like I've got a voicemail, Motorola software update. Oh, and you can see that right there. So there was a software update as soon as I turned on this device. And so, it downloaded to the device. I had to restart. And it was just, some updates that Motorola wanted to send to the phone, some enhancements. So that's good to see fresh out of the box. Okay. Motorola has been known to be very slow with software updates and stuff like that. I mean, so it's good to see that we got one fresh out of the box. But yeah, digital secure, Moto actions, account action required, and Gmail. Those are just some typical things that you would normally see when you first set up your device. And so that's what all that stuff is. Under the display, optical fingerprint sensor, it works well enough. It's not like 1+ 8 fast, but it works. You see, I mean, it's not the fastest, but it is definitely, will keep your device secure. And I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not one of those guys that just feels like a fingerprint sensor just has to be just split second as soon as you touch it. Like, I get it, it's a security feature, and I want to have it to where I have to leave my thumb on it for not a significant amount of time, but enough of amount of time in order for it to read my print and open up and open up my device, but not mistakenly open up my device if somebody else were to touch it. So I'd say this is a good fingerprint sensor. Works 100% of the time. Well, since I've had it, which hasn't been that long, but since I set it up, it's worked every time. It hasn't been a problem at all whatsoever. I mean, so security features on this phone is solid. I do not believe that we have facial recognition on this device. I could be wrong. I'll research that a little further. But I mean, I just haven't seen anything indicating that it is on the device, but that doesn't mean that it's not on the device. It's just when you're going through the initial setup, the main security feature is setting up a fingerprint. And of course, you either got to set up like a PIN code or a password or something like that as a secondary means of security for your device. So I'm not going to sit there and say that the device does not have facial recognition. I haven't looked for it, but stay tuned for the full review, and I'll have that information for you in the full pristine review. Now, some of the features and functions that I love about Motorola is, some of the touch gesture, or some of the gestures that you do with the device. I will never ever get tired of just, chopping my phone, and that turns on the LED light, which is extremely bright on the back of the device. That is a very, very useful feature, especially, this may be TMI, too much information, but I'm notorious, ladies and gentlemen, for waking up in the middle of the night. We keep all the, we don't have no night lights. We got night lights in the baby's room, but my wife and I, we're adults, we ain't scared, what I'm saying? We ain't scared of dark. We don't need no night lights, what I'm saying? But, I'm notorious for waking up in the middle of the night, going to the restroom. Sometimes I stub my toe on the wheel of the bedpost, can't see what's going on, as I'm, throwing on my robe and making my way to the restroom so I can, handle my restroom business. Well, it's just good to have your device nearby, and you don't necessarily have to like go into settings and turn on the flashlight, or swipe down and turn on the flashlight that way, even though it doesn't take that long to do. I mean, just being able to grab your device, chop, turn on the flashlight, you're good to go. The gesture, if you want to take a quick photo, just twist your wrist, a couple times. And it didn't ask me that before, but okay. So yeah, so just, quick flick of the wrist, it'll turn on the camera, and it's always going to turn on the default camera, with the primary camera on the back. If you want to take a selfie, you just flick your wrist again, and boom, and wow, that looks amazing right there. Goodness gracious. Hold up. Let me get that. Hold up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the camera review on this device. And interestingly enough, I also like the fact that too, when you're in the viewfinder, since the camera is the little buttonhole right there to the left, it's lit up right there, and it pulsates a little bit just to let you know where to look. You know what I mean? So that, the camera knows that you're looking at it, and you're not like looking all off, just trying to figure out, okay, where exactly is the lens? It's highlighted right there at the top left. So you know exactly where the camera lens is, so you'll know where to look at it. All right. Now we'll come back to the camera momentarily. And then, of course, you got your typical Android 10 gestures. If you want to get to all your recents, you just swipe up, and there's all your recents right there. The little white bar right there for all the for all the applications that you've got open. If you want to swipe back and forth to those, you just simply swipe on the white bar back and forth. I just closed all the applications out, so that's why no activity is happening right there. But that's how you do that. I mean, anybody that's familiar with Android 10, I mean, you're not going to have a problem at all navigating this particular device. Now, you do have the ability to turn on the navigation buttons as well. If you're used to rocking the old school, back, home, and recents buttons, you can enable those. Now, under settings, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. Zoom in just a smidge so we can get a better look at things here. Okay. Now, we've got just your typical list: network and internet, connection or connected devices. And so if we tap on connected devices and tap on connection preferences, this is where we're going to find Bluetooth, NFC, cast, printing, Chromebook, and filters received via Bluetooth. This is where you'll go if you're looking to find your NFC, or you can also access NFC here in the quick toggles as well. Okay. But there is that's also, your confirmation that NFC is on this device. We've got apps and notifications, battery. We click on the battery, you see we've got 59%. These are the battery usage details right there if you just want to keep track of what your battery is going towards the most. Battery saver, that's off. We do have adaptive battery. which basically detects certain apps that are running in the background that drains your battery, and adaptive battery. That option will go ahead and just kill those apps off to stop it from draining your battery in the background, which is good. This is where you turn on your battery percentage. We've got power sharing, last full charge, screen usage, since full charge, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You guys get the idea. Then here under display. So we've got our brightness level, night light, adaptive brightness, styles. Now, if we click on styles, here we have the ability to basically customize and create our own theme, which is pretty dope, right? Typically, there's always pre-installed themes that either are already on the device, or you can like download other themes to customize your device how you want it. Well, Moto gives you the option to customize your own themes, and you can choose like different icon packages, different colors and things of that nature. As you can see here, we've got the default one, which is what it's under. But if you want to create a theme, then you can just hit the plus signal right there. And then it's going to take you through just different little, okay, how you want your letters set up. Okay. And you can see those changes being made. Then you go ahead and hit next. And then you get to choose your color and, choose how you want your icons to look, so forth. Okay, you guys get the idea. Now, I'm a fan of that. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of that because, like I said, typically themes are usually pre-installed, and you just have to choose between the pre-installed themes rather than creating your own. That's actually the first time that I've seen you have the ability to be able to create your own theme. I have seen other devices where you can, change the icon packs and stuff like that, change whether or not you want them squared or rounded, or a squircle, which is like a square circle or something like that. But, to create your own theme, I mean, that's pretty nice. I like that. And that's definitely something that I'll be playing with so I can customize my Moto Edge Plus how I want it. Yeah, so, again, we've got wallpaper. And then when we click on advanced, we got the dark theme, which, we do have that, which we can enable that right there. And you can see, boom, that's our dark theme right there. And just, we'll go ahead and keep that on, since you guys already know that I'm a major fan of dark theme, all black, everything, no racist. You know what I mean? Edge lights. Okay, so we'll pop into edge lights. And what this does is, say if your phone is facing down. I showed you those water drop displays, how the screen just pours over both sides. Well, if your phone is on its face and you get a notification of the phone is ringing, the edges will light up. And I believe that you can choose the different colors in which you want the edges to light up. And that's pretty dope. That's a nice feature. There's something like that similar on the OnePlus 8, because it too has the curved display on both sides. That is something that is also on the, I think, the Samsungs, they originated that when they started, making they had a Note Edge. And I remember I had that device, and everybody was just blown away by that right side of the device being like the screen pouring over the edge. And so it had some technology like that, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what it is, edge lights. It just lights up the phone while the phone is sitting face down. You'll still be able to see whether or not your phone is ringing, or if you're getting a notification, and so forth. All right. Now, full screen, this is just for a lot of the apps that are not optimized to work in full screen in this particular aspect ratio. This is, you click on full screen and you can basically tell the apps, or all the apps, if you will, that you want them to take advantage of the full screen capabilities. Now, peak display. Peak display is basically what I just showed you, like when you, run your hand over, the display, or if you pick the phone up from a flat surface and the display will come on. And like I said, you'll be able to view the time, the date, whether or not you've got any kind of notifications, and then you just simply touch on the screen to see what those notifications are. And like I said, you can decide whether or not that's something that you want to entertain, or if you just want to let it hold off until later, or just swipe it away and get rid of it altogether. Whatever you choose to do. All right. Now, okay, so we will go to, we got screen timeout, auto screen rotate, or auto rotate screen. Then we go to colors. Now, this is where you can change, just how things look. I mean, so by default, it's on saturated. All right. But we have natural and we have boosted. Now I don't have a problem with colors being saturated, so I'm just going to keep it unsaturated because I love the way that it looks. I'm not exactly sure if you're able to change the RGB, if you're able to toggle the red, green, and the blue, or the red, blue, and green. Haven't seen that on here. I'm not going to say that it's not on here, but I haven't seen it. And typically it is under this option where you can toggle, the screen colors. And so maybe it's not on here. Now, this is where you've got display refresh rate. By default, that's also at 90, fresh out of the box. And you can only change it from 60 to 90. There's no 120 hertz on this device. But am I complaining about that? Absolutely not. That 90 hertz display is very fluid and responsive, as I demonstrated a little earlier in the video. So no complaints there. I'm definitely happy to see that there. Now we've got roaming banner, and what that is show notification text informing which system the wireless device is using. Interesting. Okay, we got font size, display size, screensaver, screen lock display, attentive display. And what this is going to keep the display on as long as you're looking at the display. So a lot of us, we keep our phone timing out at like either 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Some of you maybe a minute or two. And there's lots of times, and it can get kind of annoying when you are looking at your device, but because you've got it set the timeout after 30 seconds, it starts to time out even though you're looking at it, and you keep either having to like move your hand to get the screen to re-wake up once it kind of grayscales, or you have to touch the display or hold it down and then hold it back up or whatever to get it to light back up. Well, this particular feature, as long as the phone knows that you're looking at it, no matter what you've got your screen timeout set as, it's not going to go to sleep. It's only going to go to sleep once the phone recognizes that you are no longer looking at it. Okay, so that's a very useful feature. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it can get frustrating when you're trying to read some content, and because of your screen timeout settings, the screen just goes dim, and then you have to touch the screen and just whatever. You know what I'm saying? You guys get the point. All right, now let's see. Screenshot toolkit. Edit and share screenshots right away. And then you've got 3-finger screenshot. That's nothing new. That's just simply 3 fingers on the display, and you swipe down with those 3 fingers, and that's going to take your screenshot for you. All right. Now, so we got sound, storage, privacy, location, security, accounts, accessibility, digital well-being, and parental controls. Google, system updates. You guys can see right there under system updates that we are running Android 10. Okay, so we are on the latest software. We've got rating and feedback, help, system, and about phone. So we'll click on about phone really quickly. And as you can see, Android version, there is Android 10, ladies and gents, boys and girls. All right, now, yeah, and that's pretty much it for the settings menu. Now, as far as gestures, when we go into the Moto app, I'm pretty sure that since this is Motorola's flagship device, that they've got the whole slew of gestures that are in here. And typically, we know what Motorola likes to do with different devices. They'll have, certain features with their Moto gestures on some Moto devices, and then they'll have other ones on other Moto devices. And that's obviously a tactic to use to get people to be able to differentiate your devices based on the features that they have, rather than Motorola just pouring all their features into one device. I see that quite often with a lot of their budget and mid-range devices. And obviously, their mid-range phones, they're, closer to flagship level. I mean, so more of those Moto gestures you often see in their mid-range Z line, but you do see some of those features trickle down into some of the budget-friendly devices. But I imagine here, being the flagship, we got to get all the Moto gestures here. So we'll go to Moto Actions, and so we've got, quick capture, which is just, flicking the wrist to access the camera really quickly. Fast flashlight, just doing that double chop with the device in your hand to turn on the flashlight. 3-finger screenshot, we'll go ahead and turn that on. Like I said, I mean, that's just, and then it gives you a little demonstration. So actually, you don't even have to use the 3 fingers to swipe down. You just place your 3 fingers on the screen, press very lightly, not hard. You don't want to damage your screen, but just give it a, just a firm little press, and you're going to be able to take a screenshot. All right. And the phone, it gives you a brief tutorial on how to do all these things if you're unsure how to do these things. All right. Screenshot toolkit. I just saw that. That's just set the phone to be able to share screenshots right when you take them. You're basically just, commanding the phone what to do with the screenshot right after you capture it. Pick up to silence. Now, this feature is pick up the phone to silence the ringer. So if the phone is ringing and you want to silence the ring, just pick the phone up. All right. And then you've got media control. So use the volume key to change tracks when the screen is off. So rather than using the volume keys to toggle the volume when the screen is off, if you're listening to music, you can use the volume keys to change the track either forward or backward. All right. Now, the whatever music you're listening to, the content is going to be displayed here on the front screen anyway. So it's like you might as well just navigate the tracks on the screen and then keep your volume button, handy to be able to control the volume and make sure that it's where you want it to be. All right. Now, if we go to, again, quick capture, that's that feature right there. Just a couple flicks of the wrist. Okay. 3-finger screenshot. Again, this is just giving you a tutorial of those things. And then you've got some other, get tips and tricks on how to operate these things. And then what's new in Android 10. And so, if you're not familiar with all the nuances with Android 10, then you can go ahead and click on that and you can learn more. And learning about those things will really help you be able to, master your device. I mean, you want to be able to take full advantage of your device. And part of that is knowing what the hell you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what you're doing in order to be able to take full advantage of what these devices are capable of. And so, if you're spending $1,000 on this phone, I mean, you definitely want to get your money's worth. And it's interesting because some people spend that kind of money on a device just because it's the latest and they don't even use a fraction of what the device can do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so if you're the type of person where all you're doing is just calling and texting, maybe a little bit of social media, what have you. I mean, do you really want to spend $1,000 just for that? When there's phones out there that are way cheaper, that are also really nice, that'll give you the same experience, or at least give you the ability to do those things with absolutely no problems at all, and you're saving hundreds of dollars. Just saying. Now, see it your way. So we got Moto display. Okay. So we've got the peak display. That's what I showed you earlier. Like if you run your hand over the display or you pick the phone up from a flat surface, then the display will come on. You can see, again, the date, the time, any notifications that you may have. We've got edge touch. And so what that is double tap on the edge for helpful shortcuts. And so what we'll do is we'll turn that on, and you see the little edge button right there. If we double tap that, then if we're on the home screen, and you can see it right there, okay? Double tap that, and what is it telling me? Can't be turned on right now, what? Oh, it can't be turned off in this app. Okay, interesting. Well, whatever, I'll come back and play with that later. But that's basically what that does. And so, you double tap on that and it, give you some, you'll be able to like create some shortcuts, to get into applications. It's kind of like, they basically tore a page out of Samsung's playbook with the edge display, where you've got the little display on the sides. And so if you don't want to go into your full array of apps, say like if you want to just create and save like your most used applications, you can just, flick your thumb and navigate to those apps, so you don't have to go all in your phone and go swiping through page after page looking for apps. It's just like a little, I guess a more organized way to get into your most used applications. So that's a cool little feature. Again, attentive display, keep your phone on as long as you're looking at it. Definitely want to turn that on. Okay. So okay, turn it on. Okay, so now that's on. And edge lights, which, we've already covered that. All right, so now this is just a tutorial of the peak display, This is a tutorial of the edge lights. And then you've got Moto game time. And so let's see, you know, find tools and settings to help you focus on gaming. I'm just going to turn that off because I don't game on my mobile devices. But again, if you guys are just looking for, you know, some helpful tips and tricks while you're gaming on the Moto Edge Plus, then, you know, you'll be able to click on that under the Moto actions, and it should be able to help you out with your gaming experience. Now, let's get into the camera, ladies and gentlemen, and let me set up a couple of things here. Okay. All right. So now with the camera, say obviously we've got photo mode. This is video. And then when we click on the little dots there, these are the different things that we have to choose from, the different photo modes that we've got to choose from. We've got portrait. What is that? What? I've got bad eyes and it's very small, so I'm straining. Try not to strain my eyes, y'all. No judgment. All right, so portrait, cutout, macro, spot and color, night vision, cinematograph, panorama, ultra high res or ultra res. That's for the 108 megapixel camera. And then we've got live filters. And then for the video modes, we've got portrait, macro, slow motion, and time lapse. All right, now I'll get out of that. And up at the top here, we've got HDR. Here's the flash. Here's the timer. This is active photo auto. And basically what that is just like live photos on the iPhones. You know, when you take a picture, you know, a couple seconds before the picture's taken, you know, it'll kind of record that. So your pictures will look like they're moving. And let's see what this is here. Okay, so this is your auto or manual. So when you turn it on manual, this is your pro mode basically, and this is where you can toggle, you know, all the things manually. So we'll go ahead and go back to auto. And then we'll go into settings. Okay, so for the rear camera, the photo settings we've got 4:3, 16:9, 19.5:9, and then the resolution we've got 27 megapixel and 7 megapixel. Okay, for the resolutions. For video, you see we've got 6K video, 4K video, full HD at 60, full HD at 30, full HD at 19.5:9, and then just regular HD. Okay, selfie camera. Again, this is a 25 megapixel sensor. Again, we can change the photo size from 4.3 or the the viewfinder to 16:9 or 19.5:9, and then the resolution is either 25 megapixel or 6 megapixel recommended. And under the 6 megapixel, which it says recommended right there, it says 25 megapixel / quad pixel. So, you know, while it's in 6MP, you're taking advantage of that quad pixel technology capability. All right, now for the selfie camera video size that we've got, you see we've got full HD 19.5:9, and HD. We don't have 4K recording on the front camera. To me, that's not a big deal at all whatsoever. All right, we've got slow motion size, HDR, selfie portrait mirror, capture settings. We got quick capture, tap anywhere to capture, shutter sound, assistive grid. I like the grid, so I'll turn that on. Leveler as well. Watermark, yes. Let's turn on the watermark. There we go. Just so I don't get these pictures confused with other devices that I've taken pictures with. And then AI settings, we've got auto smile capture, smart composition, shot optimization, Google Lens, and then save settings. We've got save location, efficient videos, and then about we've got play tutorial, help, and open source licensing. Okay, so Go ahead and take a quick pic. Okay. Nice shutter speed. God, the haptic engine on this phone is absolutely stunning. It feels really good. I mean, I'm so used to devices just having these cheap feeling haptic engines. But I mean, I got to say, I'm impressed with the haptic engine on the Moto Edge Plus here. Okay. It feels very iPhone-ish. All right. Now let me go ahead and take a quick selfie. Spin the camera around. Wow. That is gorgeous. I mean, I know I'm just such a devilishly handsome young player, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking more so about, you know, the way the camera looks, not necessarily myself. You see what I'm saying? But yeah. Boom. Beautiful. I mean, looking at this does not do it justice through the lens of this camera. Okay, so definitely stay tuned for the dedicated camera review that I'm going to do for this device, and I will definitely have more images up for you, ladies and gentlemen. So for now, that's where I'm going to end this one. So thank you for tuning in to the unboxing hardware, software, features and functions and camera tour. I hope this video was helpful to some of you that heard about this device and are curious about it. And if you like this video, you already know, please hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of videos that I've done like this one. Be sure to check out my whole catalog because I've got a lot of different devices, a lot of great options to choose from if you're in the market for a new smartphone. Be sure to keep it locked here at Pristine Mobile Tech because I've got so much more content to come. Make sure you hit that notifications bell so that whenever my videos get uploaded, you'll get notified and you can be one of the first to check out the content. And get down in the comment section and please do let me know what you think about what you saw. Hit me with any questions, comments, or feedback that you may have. In the comment section is where I'll be chilling at, responding to a lot of those questions, comments, or feedback that you guys may have. All right. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Much love to my subscribers. And, you know, I know that we're still weathering the storm through this pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of us are still on quarantine and stay home, stay healthy initiatives by our governors and mayors and all these kind of things. All I can say to that is just continue to trust in the Lord. You know, he's brought us all through many storms in our lives, and we too shall get through this one. Peace and love to all of you out there that have been majorly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. To those of you that are sick, that are fighting for your lives, that have it, prayers are with you, and I pray that the Lord lay his hands upon you and heal your body of that pandemic and bless you to get back up to health. Bless you with clean bill of health. For the people who have lost loved ones to the COVID-19, or if you're somebody that's grieving a lost loved one, you know, because of the COVID-19, for one, I pray that the souls of your lost loved one rest in the heavens with our Lord and Savior. And I pray, Father God, that he also bless you in these times and provide you with the sense of comfort of knowing that your lost loved one is resting in the heavens with our Creator. You know what I'm saying? And man, just may these organizations continue to protect all of our frontline workers, doctors, nurses, technicians, you know what I'm saying, that are on the front line dealing with these people. May they continue to be blessed with the proper personal protective equipment that they're going to need to protect themselves and their families and their loved ones. For the people that are affected who have lost their jobs, they've been laid off, whether it be temporarily or permanently. I pray that life isn't majorly affected because of this thing. I pray that you're able to take advantage of some of the assistance programs that are taking place to help people stay afloat financially. I too am in that boat. I just recently lost my job this past Tuesday. But, you know, I serve a God who's conquered this world and who cares for his children. So I'm not worried one bit. You know what I'm saying? I know that something else in store is coming for me. And I just continue to trust in our good Lord and continue to cling on to his ever unchanging hand. And I know he's going to look after me and my family. We'll be just fine. All right. So, yeah, that said, you know what I'm saying? Please, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Just stay healthy. Continue to wash your hands. Continue to practice good hygiene. And, you know, you already know, please keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. When I catch you guys in the next video. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.